There's a new smart fridge called Theo out there. Oh God, I gotta replace you.
Well, I bet you're wondering what Alvin is talking about. He's talking about the first smart fridge with deep learning Face ID and family safety technology. First, before we start, we'd like to thank our amazing mentor, Naya, the judges, and everyone who made this Makeathon possible.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jordan Moore.
I'm Miranda Liu.
And I'm Alvin too. And I just got my Theo, and I'm so excited to talk about him with you guys. So we'll be talking about the current problem with smart fridges, our solution to these problems, market research we've conducted, the competitive landscape surrounding smart fridges, and our future plans. We'll also be addressing ethical concerns of establishing IoT and smart device networks throughout.
So, why create Theo when we already know there's smart fridges out there? Well, current smart fridges lack personalization, as they're incapable of detecting different users. They also have limited capabilities, especially with safety features for children or privacy for adults. Many also require assistants like Amazon Alexa to function properly because they don't have voice recognition built in.
But those fridges aren't Theo. Theo is a solution in response to all your family and smart fridge problems. Your family will live safer, more comfortable, and more effective lives with Theo in the home. With features like locking certain parts of the fridge depending on Face ID, to voice recognition and personalized calendars, Theo will be the helper you never knew could feel like family.
Well, now that we've introduced our solution, who exactly are our stakeholders? Well, our first group are parents. As we know, they all often struggle with preventing their kids from accessing potentially dangerous items such as alcohol.
Aside from parents, we want to target communal spaces and organizations. For example, college students, elderly care facilities, because we know sharing food is a common issue. For me, now that I got my Theo, my roommate is never touching my food again.
Lastly, we plan to connect with companies like Instacart. This allows users to order their customized grocery list through the app. And wouldn't that be great to just order groceries with a few clicks?
So speaking of apps, we have an app associated with Theo right here, as you can see. In this app, you can create an account. So in this app, you would be able to create an account. You can access other functionalities such as controlling the fridge temperature and coolers. You can also control what shelves are locked. You can see we have a camera within these apps that allow companies like Instacart and DoorDash to utilize this to create grocery lists in the future, which we plan to implement.
All right, so Theo's main model is based off some pretty cool features. So let's get into it. Before exploring all those cool features, let's take a look at how Theo's engine was built. In its simplest form, a Siamese network is a type of neural network architecture that compares two images simultaneously. It allows for images to be differentiated instead of classified. Why use such a complex architecture over a simple one? If we think about Theo's problem, recognizing different faces and differentiating between them, if we use a typical industry model alone, as seen here, we would have to get thousands of images of our buyer with different hair, shades, angles, etc. for a single person, and have to retrain Theo for every new person he sees. It's just not viable for our customers in any sense. So we use Siamese networks. This architecture is able to take a single image of our customer and detect them in feature images with astounding accuracy. Scalable facial recognition is just not possible with a simpler network. But we all know that Theo is much more powerful than some simple classifier model. So how does he do this? In order for the Siamese architecture to work, you can use any kind of neural network, usually based on simple building blocks like convolutions. Your data is different though. It's all about variety. You take as many different people as you can with only a couple pictures each. Very different than what we're used to, which is maybe 10 classes with thousands of images in each. This is where our subnetwork called SqueezeNet comes into play. If you guys are like me, you'd be wondering what a fire module is and why we chose such a layered approach. Without going in depth, a fire module utilizes both 1x1 and 3x3 convolutions called squeeze and expand layers in order to mimic what other popular industry standard models do in smaller model sizes, about 50 times smaller. We chose this architecture because while we still wanted high accuracy, we didn't have sufficient RAM or GPU memory to train it. SqueezeNet allows us to maintain the small model size needed for IoT-based tech while also not sacrificing the needed accuracy and scalability of our model. So this is where we merge our two architectures together and name it Siamese SqueezeNet. When making our model, we know that balanced data was the backbone of it all. We cannot send Theo out in the world without making sure he can adequately become personalized with every single user. Theo works by running each image he receives through our dynamic and multifaceted Siamese squeeze net to then check the similarity against his family's database. This is a very powerful model. With a single image, you can correctly predict the next 1,000. So what we're about to show you is the setup. So right here, when we set up the user, he'll be asking us what our name is. And seeing as my name is Jordan, I will put Jordan. My camera will come up. I'll take a picture. And now Theo has taken my picture and will move on to the Theo Vision, which is our proprietary software that is used to, sorry about this, guys. In order for us to show Theo Vision, we need to share my computer audio so you guys can see exactly what Theo is saying. Share computer sound. Sorry, guys. Okay, there we go. Theo Vision. Now as Theo comes up, we'll be waiting for Theo to load in, and make sure you listen to what Theo has to say because it's pretty important.
Good morning, Jordan. I've unlocked the entire fridge for you. The only event you have today is the Makeathon. Have fun.
Thank you, Theo. I appreciate that. Hey, Theo, can you unlock Miranda from the freezer? I don't want her touching my ice cream again.
I've locked Miranda from the freezer. Safe with me.
Thank you, Theo.
I saw you had a voice message from your mentor, Naya. Would you like me to play it?
Yes, please.
Good luck today, Team Jammin'. I'm so proud of you guys.
Well, Theo, since we're running short on time, I'm going to have you say bye to everyone real quick, okay?
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for coming to see me.
And that was Theo.
Jordan's in-depth technical talk is a foil to our market audience. Theo comes with safety features aimed towards protecting kids from accessing potentially dangerous items such as alcohol. So parents with younger children are one of our targets. Another target market are groups within communal spaces. In addition, Theo will provide more privacy for everyone.
Well, if our target market are parents and groups of communal spaces, what exactly is the market size? We found that in 2020, there were 33.5 million US households with one or more children. In 2017, nearly 79 million adults shared a home with roommates.
In addition, over 77% of our survey respondents said that they would consider buying a smart fridge with Theo's AI implemented.
Additionally, the global smart fridge market was valued at $286.9 million in 2019. By 2025, this is predicted to more than double, and this market is definitely growing very quickly. When we conducted our survey, one father commented that the safety of his children means more than anything in the world to him, and that Theo would help him worry less about his kids' safety. So, now that we've covered this, who are our competitors?
Wow, Miranda, what competition does Theo have to make to get into that father's kitchen? We found that direct competitors include LG, Kenmore, or Samsung, who already produce leading smart fridges, and indirect competitors include tech companies like Amazon or Google who create a smart assistants to use with a smart fridge. In fact, Theo doesn't require a smart assistant to function to its full abilities, unlike other smart fridges, so you don't have to go through the hassle of getting an extra smart home assistant. So that's Theo 1, and typical smart fridges is 0.
Because we've implemented deep learning, Theo is also able to identify users and engage them in conversation.
With that deep learning, Theo uses facial identification to lock or unlock shelves designated for a detected user.
Theo is also able to automatically display and send messages to detected users at the fridge and through the app, which ensures that important messages aren't missed again. So Theo is certainly unique, but as with all IoT and smart device networks, there are a lot of ethical issues to consider. One of the most important is security, as many companies with smart fridges don't promise software updates, which leads to these security breaches. Theo's team plans to continually update software to protect customers. Users are also able to turn on and off each feature, so they're able to match their comfort level, making Theo not too invasive. When considering Theo's camera placement, we decided that in order to ensure accessibility to all, his camera needs to be capable of turning, and this can capture users of all heights, including children, those in wheelchairs, and more.
First step has to be building a better model. Future Theo builds will include 2 high-def-based cameras to allow for better accessibility and security for everyone. We'll be integrating DoorDash and Instacart based on Theo's in-fridge camera. And lastly, we'll be incorporating multimodal aspects, but also redoing the app and adding more features such as more human-like communication.
So, as Theo said it best, thank you all for coming out to see him today.
Questions?